Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, assorted members of the jury, Athenian League lovers unite, as we are joined here to present a Major God debut. Well, I mean, this is the Major God League. I'm not sure if it's Zeus or what's the other one? Zeus and Hades, or Zeus and what? What is it? Hang on, let me just double check. Yeah, Zeus and Hades. I'm not sure which one they're in. Anyways, in the left-hand corner of the map, playing as Hades, his name is Der Super Saiyajin. He is the Super Saiya man himself. His opponent today in the red color playing as Frey. His name is Jollyman from the Dog Clan. So yes, we're back with the Athenian League yet again. Jollyman, for those you don't know, he is a distant cousin of mine, hailing from the wee island of New Zealand. However, I think he's currently in Sydney. I could be wrong. So he's basically Australian. So we're basically brothers. Because we're like, you know, that's how it works. So I'm OCE Unite, in other words. I got my favorites. I'm allowed to have my favorites, all right? We'll see how the game's going to go. Hades versus Freya. A difficult matchup, or a difficult matchup, I reckon, for the Hades. But not the best of maps here for Jollyman. Super Saiyajin. If you take a look at the map and we're looking at game plan, first and foremost, I really think when it depends on the matchup as to what sort of early game build you want to do here with the Hades. Just going for the most optimal amount of resources you possibly can to get yourself the most the most resources, right? I don't think that's that important. I really don't. The difference of having like 100 plus resources over a different build is not, I don't think it matters that much. What I think matters is knowing what is on the map and knowing what your game plan needs to be as soon as you possibly can and start working towards it. So what I'm basically saying here is potentially it would have been better to just drop a granary, go for a slightly slower Vaults of Erebus and be scouting this all out. Because if the Super Saiyajin sees this, he goes, okay, so the map has got no back gold mines for this town center. It does have back hunt, but that's not the biggest of deals. All of a sudden, the game plan here for Super Saiyajin just needs to be deny middle town centers, and we can actually force a game here that does not go down the line of Freya booming to all Bilio, Hades booming to all Bilio, and oftentimes the Hades player just not being able to hold against the terrifying sort of early late game, late mid game sort of problem. But we'll see how things are going to go. We'll see if Sir Super Saiyajin's got some sort of an idea here. He is going for a slightly later advance time, which does indicate to me that he wants to play one town center play anyways. And he is going through Athena. There are some options here to go Ares, which I really like, because if you go Ares, you get Pestilence, which means you don't care if your opponent puts up a hill fort. Because then you can just walk forward, hit Pestilence, and just take the fight anyways. But look at this base for Jollyman. Absolutely beautiful. He's got the back wood line, back gold line. He's got a little bit of an opening here he just needs to deal with, and then he's basically safe to nearly anything. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little cheeky wall over there. Let's have a little quick look-see at the relics. We've got the Eye of Horus on the bottom side. Beautiful relic there for the late game Freyr sort of ideas. Over onto this side, we've got the skulls of the Cercepes, giving some early monkeys is nice. A little cheeky wall coming up onto this side as well for Jollyman, as he's going to be locking off this top position. Love that play nice and early. Don't see that very often. It is a significant amount of resources, but I mean, what else is your Berserk going to be doing right now? Scouting? It's a little bit difficult. But nonetheless, Athena is in. Ulla is on the way, as the village is going to be dropping that food into the ox cart, coming over onto the chickens. And there goes Jollyman's Draugr. He's now out, going to be dropping down some barracks and all the other good stuff. As the villagers for Super Saiyajin now coming through. And he is actually going for this town center into the center of the map. I'm a little surprised on this. Does he actually see everything? No, he doesn't. He does see his own map, and he can make some guesses based on what he's seen. But he's going for a town center here, and this should mean that Jollyman can just safely go for his own town center. But he doesn't want that one. He wants this one. Maybe this is the idea from Super Saiyan, is that if he grabs this town center and Jollyman goes greedy on, or not greedy, goes safe on this town center, then things can get kind of bad for him, because Super Saiyan can stay classical age, pump units, and look to lock this position off. But he is going for the back town center. He's going for the safe one. And this still leaves things a little bit difficult, I think, for Jollyman. I think Super Saiyan here, so long as he just plays a very, very aggressive game here, building units out, putting pressure on in the classical age, he should be okay here. He should be okay to make something happen. We'll see if that's what he's going to go for or not. As the Katoska boss coming through, checking this out, sees the Hersa. As a little cheeky wall coming over onto this spot. Love that play. Both players actually doing this. The one thing that this town center does give is this hunt on the back, of which Jollyman sees. So he will probably wander over here after he gets the town center up. We do have a hill fort coming up over here. Very, very dangerous hill fort. However, does he see the town center? He does see the town center, so he knows he's pretty well okay here. That being said, I think Super Saiyan probably could have dropped like a stable and made Hippias and charged over here and put some pressure onto this straight away. Maybe. With some heroes, early restoration or something, forcing out a cool and bursty. But nonetheless, the hill fort will come down, and this will secure his second gold mine. And this game is going boomy ways. So let's see if the Super Saiyan is going to be able to find a way through this. This is always the difficult thing, because the fair game plan here from now is build some Huskal, and he's going to be the one to be able to put some early game pressure on. You can get out a handful of Huskal here, and you can just roam around the map just getting value, because what unit do you build to stop the Huskal at this point in the game? You don't have a pass burst. You can make Hippias to try and deal with it, but it's a little bit difficult. It's a little bit difficult to make it all work. As the villagers coming over here, a little bit of a shank, sniping that Jollyman Hersa there, not letting that one get through. As Ajax does come forward, spots the Asgardian hill fort. Too little, too late. Tosca boss in. All the Hersas are out. Ajax falls. Stirs Super Saiyan now. Eye of Horus in hand, or on the top of, well, kind of on the back of the horse. I mean, the horse has got to be feeling a little bit magical right now. I haven't noticed that before. Normally, it's on the back of the horse. No, what is going on in this game? Nonetheless, Huskal coming through for Jollyman, as was said, would be the main thing. They come over here and start bashing down these walls. You can put pressure over onto this food line or food spot here. Hunting operation, get some good pressure here. We'll be seeing the with the wall falling. I would love to see Jollyman also doing a cheeky little one of these just to lock this wall off. You don't want your opponent to like sneak a villager around here and then wall you off and just cause a whole bunch of problems. Jollyman charging in here. There will be a heroic age to come through for Der Super Saiyan momentarily here, I'm sure. The villagers will have to bail, so just a little bit of damage, it looks like. As the Minotaur trying to stop this from happening. The villager here will end up falling. There's one villager down. And a little bit of damage onto everything else, but it looks like that will all finish up there as Sentinels gets dropped. And Jollyman to retreat back into his base here and call it equal to some degree. But with that all being said, Super Saiyan gets his tech off relatively unscathed here. He's up to Aphrodite, not going for that Apollo, which is a little bit surprising. Oftentimes we see the Hades player going for an Apollo play to force out the upgrade, to force out the god powers, and you can just trade Apollo or an Underworld for like a Gullenbursty and a Tempest potentially. But Aphrodite, the god of choice here, Maybe with ideas of just going for like mass myth unit or something. Could be something as the wall's coming through here for Jollyman. He says, well, if you're going to wall me off over here, maybe I'll just wall you off. Cut you off those gold mines a little bit. As he's going to be pulling back into his main base. Villagers finishing up on this gold mine. Lots of villagers on food. Lots of villagers on wood. Probably time to actually spam a whole bunch of buildings for both players here. Unless there's something very specific that Super Saiyan's going for. He might be just saying, I'm going to go for immediate fortress and then siege push. That could be the idea for Super Saiyan. But Jollyman is active at the moment. He's out on the map and any sort of aggressive fortress should get denied. As the wall's coming through. Jollyman not paying attention. Now he does. Breaks through. And that will be another villager pick there. So, that will be another villager pick there. So, nice little play from Jolly. He's now into this position. And there's that wall. Love it. Love it. Yes, Jolly. As the curse comes up, I don't think the wall's going to finish, though. The wall will not finish. I'm upset. Nice try. It'll get knocked down and then the wall can get finished up here. A couple more military buildings coming through for the Super Saiyan as the A gear is queued up. Farms coming up all over the place here for Jollyman. He has to make a decision now. The simple play here for Freya against Hades is to just go for Huskarl, throw an Axeman, Rock Giants. The more complicated play is you can go into Jarls, great Jarls, with Freya's Gift, or Legendary Jarls with Freya's Gift, are very, very strong. They're not quite as strong, obviously, as the Ring Giver Freya Jarls, but still they can be a big difficulty to deal with. As Shaft Mine, Bowsaw, Irrigation coming through for Der Super Saiyan. And it's a third town center on the way here for Super Saiyan, which also plays into what Jollyman is naturally going to be wanting to do, which is just grabbing this town center. Drops another Asgardian Hill Fort. And the building spammage to start coming through. I've got to assume there's got to be a fortress on the way here somewhere. Right here. I don't mind this play because he's already got this walled off. He can break through here and try and just make a push into the main base going this way. There's no real way for Der Super Saiyan to just stamp the Freya out of this game with a gold star at this point, considering 2 Asgardian Hill Forts, gold mine here, gold mine here. This is walled off. This is all under Jollyman's kind of control for the time being. But with this fortress coming up, yeah, Super Saiyan can break through this. Maybe he's drop another fortress here and try and lock this off. Looks like he's going to the Mythic Age, which does make a little bit of sense here. We'll see if he goes for the Artemis angle or the Hephaestus angle. Generally speaking, if someone is going to sit back and just play defensive, which is it's kind of what Jollyman's doing. Both players are kind of playing a defensive game here. But if someone's going to sit back and play defensive, there's 2 ways to try and break it. You can either execute a really, really strong timing attack and outplay. Your opponent's playing defensive. There is the potential there for them to defend that timing attack. It's a little bit risky. Or you can just go for attacking play. If someone's going to sit back there and just do nothing, or whatever you want to call it, oftentimes just getting that tech in and finding the advantage there and making a push later can be the right way to go. As Hephaestus is the god of choice, which is a little bit slow, as a Great Hall coming up, or no, Hill Fort coming up, Great Halls as well. You all have to realize that Super Saiyan managed to squeeze out a 3rd town center behind this. So he's going Mythic Age, but he's not actually falling behind in villages to get to this Mythic Age either. So that's a really good spot for him to be in, as the taunt goes off there from the Rock Giant, but a fortress up, a hill fort up. Are we going to be seeing the rams? No rams in for Jollyman just yet. As he looks to charge forward, sniping down a couple of those Toxotes. There's the Tempest getting dropped. And a really smart move here from Super Saiyan is to just garrison. This is the ultimate counter to Tempest, is garrisoning as a portable ram to come through. And this is the timing here that Jollyman wanted to hit here. If he breaks through the fortress, he's got those rams. Breaks through all this position, he can make things very, very difficult for Super Saiyan. He might have to sack the Talent Center. Maybe that third Talent Center was a little bit greedy inside of this strategy. As the fortress goes down. Another hill fort here for Jollyman. Does he have his tech? He is getting it. He's getting that Feast of Renown tech. It's now the Mythic Age is in. And immediately a Plenty Vault and the Forge of Olympus tech should be coming through as well. And not only that, the Perseus also to come through will be a nice little counter for that Rock Giant there. There's the portable rams now coming through to take out the Talent Center. Jollyman pulling back ever so slightly. Third Super Saiyan. Restoration to keep everything afloat here. Managing to snipe down those portable rams. As the Hypaspist Hoplite army of the Super Saiyan looking very powerful against those Hypaspists. Not Hypaspist, the Huskal. Hypaspist looking very strong against the Huskal there. But Jollyman has got himself the hill fort to help out with this spot. He can use that as a gigantic advantage with this Feast of Renown tech to come through. The only problem is with him grabbing the Feast of Renown tech in the temple is he's not able to get those Rock Giants out, which kind of enable this unit composition to work versus Hypaspist Peltast. Hypaspist Peltast will beat this sort of a composition. As the Rams wandering forward to take out the Talent Center and all the other good stuff here. Over onto this side. Nice little raid from Jollyman as he is managing to get in onto the backside of Super Saiyan. Throwing Axeman versus Peltast is not a good fight to be taken. Great control from Super Saiyan, managing to make that work. More Rams coming through, however, for Jollyman. Look at the wood income. He's got 3,800 wood in the bank. Gold villagers up here. Gold villagers idle. He's got to pull all those villagers off of wood, put them onto a gold mine. But he is full focused on this attack for the time being. And it looks like the Super Saiyan might just be stabilizing here. Another Asgardian hill fort to come up to secure this position. There is a villager lead, substantial villager lead for Jollyman, but Super Saiyan's got the Plenty Vault, so it's actually equal here. It's 90 villagers apiece in terms of pure income. As the damage there from that Colossus is going to be too much. We've also got the burning pitch in from those Peltast as well. As Jollyman now getting those great Jarls out. We were talking about those. Those are the more like simple way to break through this army, as Super Saiyan will actually now need to mix in Hoplites as well as a Hypaspist, as well as try and micro this, which is very, very messy, very, very difficult. As the Rams coming through here, they can actually take out this Metropolis as well. And Jollyman to pull back. Still has that Vidar tech queued up. Going to be dropping another hill fort in the center here. I'd love to see this Talent Center just getting dropped by like one unit here as well for Jollyman. Getting up to 3 TCs at this point to get himself a little bit more population, a little bit more military pop. Would be very, very helpful. As the Rams coming to the top side, bashing down the granary, bashing down everything, coming around to snipe the fortress. over here as well. That's so many portable rams. You can still pull villagers. Now, the villagers lost their bonus damage versus siege, but doesn't really mean anything. They still kill the siege. They're still doing hack. They still 7.5 damage per second against a 275 HP unit, which got 5% hack armor. You got to kill that siege weapon. It's just not instant anymore. As now Vidar queued up. However, Super Saiyan is making a pushback. He has managed to hold thus far. Jollyman's done some significant damage. He's now dropping the town center at the top. The town center on this position here for Super Saiyan is going to be able to come back up. Super Saiyan missing just a handful of armory upgrades. All the armory upgrades that don't matter. Pierce upgrades. Jollyman's not doing a single point of pierce outside of the hill forts here. But Mythic Age is coming. Full champion is coming. Does he have the armories up? He's got 2 armories, so he's going to be able to get a couple of those armory upgrades in. Meanwhile, more buildings falling on the back. This is the hardest part about playing Norse, is making sure you're expanding behind yourself while you're getting pushed, while also having the units in to defend and slow down the push. Otherwise, you just run out of infrastructure and you can't reproduce your units. You just end up with a crazy amount of resources in the bank, but not being able to spend them. As the Mythic Age pops here, Jollyman drops the holy damn. It just runs. He just kills everything. He just dropped. The Super Saiyan. He loses everything to that Mythic Age god power. The Inferno too big there. And now the Super Saiyan will have to rebuild. He gets how many of these guys? He gets 6 Hades Shades from all that. Is that it? I guess if he goes 6 times 5, that's 30 units that died for that, right? That was such a good Inferno. Now, the upgrades coming through for Jollyman. Iron weapons, iron mail, quarry, carpenters, champion camp, champion infantry, breaks the town center again, restoration in to hold for a little bit longer. But Super Saiyan's rams, or Super Saiyan will kill these rams off. You're gonna have to rebuild the town center. He's got fortified town centers coming through, so even though he's 2 versus 3 town centers for the time being, he will have a population advantage to some degree. A small population advantage. I think he goes up to 210 or something like that. As yet again, Jollyman setting up the siege on this position, dropping that hill fort down again. Fafnir in. Huge damage to come through. Does Super Saiyan just with 2 heroes at the moment. So Fafnir will die very, very slowly here. I say as it's down to 770 HP, but still dies very, very slowly there. As, oh dear. Jollyman, I'm not sure how he did this, but he's made a pretty crucial mistake here with his technologies. Has he done it on all of these as well? Hang on, let me see. Yeah, he has. So I think what Jollyman's done here, and this is like a mechanical, it's just a knowledge thing. He's pre-queued everything while doing it on, select all military buildings or something, right? And what that does is, it for whatever reason, the pre-queue goes all into one building. So you have to actually manually go through all your buildings and pre-queue like this, right? Manually go through them all. And that way you're actually going to get them to immediately start. And this has slowed down that champion infantry so much here. And look at those Super Saiyan's army. Absolutely gigantic. 6.6k, 7k of military here, breaking through. The other thing here is Jollyman doesn't have himself this upgrade just yet for the hill fort. It's such a big upgrade. Advanced fortifications. If you don't know how big it is, let me just explain it. It's 50% extra damage. So the hill fort right now is doing 39, let's call it 40 pierce damage a second. It goes up to 60 damage a second, which is huge. It's a huge amount of damage. So it's a must grab as the Ghoul and Bursty getting called down to support here. And Dirt Super Saiyan will have to retreat. Jollyman's now got himself out a hefty amount of Jarls here. The Ghoul and Bursty can just charge forward, sacrifice himself for the time being. Not the worst thing in the world. And now Ballister actually coming through for Jollyman. This could be scary for the Hades as well. Dealing with Ballister, this is one of those questions that I've actually recently had where I'm like, how do I actually beat a advanced fortification setup Frere who's got Ballister? Well, the answer would be cavalry. Realistically, cavalry getting onto the Ballister when they get out of position. But if they're not out of position, you just can't push that position. You have to go somewhere else. Meanwhile, we are seeing Jollyman going for some cheekiness over here, but this has been caught. Cheeky little Gastrofatoris and Petropolis in to put a stop to all that madness. As now we finally have champion infantry coming through. As Jollyman struggling a little bit for gold. Does he have a trade route started? No. His gold mines are running out though. Meanwhile, over onto this side as well, Dirt Super Saiyan to break through here. Going to be coming in to try and find something on this position. Peltas control from Super Saiyan has been on point for the entirety of this game. As Jollyman continues to take this fight, but just look at the difference in military resource value. It's absolutely gigantic here. As Jollyman just can't get out the units he needs to realistically take any fights. And we've got a hill fort coming up over here, which will secure this gold mine. We've got a cheap little hill fort coming, or fortress coming down for Dirt Super Saiyan, which will be denied. And the Hades army just doing so much. One idea here for Super Saiyan now is to wander forward and put this aggressive fortress up behind this forest to start sieging down that main town center, which was an idea from way back early game. But now the heavy Ballister are in. If you guys didn't realize, these guys are costing 3 pop. And yes, they're expensive, so we're ignoring the cost on them. But look at this damage. They do more than a fortified... they do more than a advanced fortification hill fort. Obviously, not all the arrows are going to be hitting the same unit, but still, they absolutely stonk. And all of a sudden, Dirt Super Saiyan is the one with no population anymore. He's dropped. Town center over here, getting taken down. Rams into the main base. Dirt Super Saiyan going to be losing the fortress. An absolutely wild game. Over here, the Heliopolis taking down houses. Heroes in the main base here of Jollyman. The army to come back up here has to defend this, and now Jollyman can set up in the center, trying to take out the fortress here. Jollyman, Dirt Super Saiyan, he's got all the units queued up as well. He's missing Levy. He's missing these upgrades. They can be a huge assistance to just getting these units out without you needing to just invest villager training time and APM into spamming buildings. So Super Saiyan has dealt with this. He's still finding an angle to attack onto this position here. Villagers getting called off of their farming duties to deal with the heavy Heliopolis. We'll be able to snipe that. Get back to work. Perseus falls. The heroes fall. Into the main position here. Jollyman is now the one who's behind on military, or behind on population. Asgardian Hill Fort getting dropped down onto the back here. Attempting to get that up as fast as humanly possible, but here's the problem. Gold expiring. There's only this gold mine in the middle of the map, this gold mine remaining. On the other side here, a little bit more gold in the bank here for Super Saiyan holding this middle is absolutely crucial right now for Jollyman. He does have a small trade route started. He can't sell. He's got 2 markets, 3 markets in a dream here. Both players are going to be needing to start a trade route at this point. However, on the left side here, Super Saiyan says it's time for the Titan Age. He doesn't have the wood for it, but he is pumping and he is going to be able to deny this gold mine. And this could potentially just be game over for Jollyman in this moment. Jollyman pulling off with the gold. Super Saiyan in a commanding position. The pacifist coming through, sniping all those villagers there. 123 pop of 235. The trade route is awesome. It's a great trade route. 60 gold. 60-ish gold. Little hill fort coming up over onto this side as that does get spotted, but is there going to be any siege coming through? Titan Age is now on the way. Coinage also coming through. And after all is said and done, Super Saiyan manages to hold on here against the power of Frere in this game. I legitimately think had Jollyman grabbed champion infantry in a building straight when he hit the Mythic Age and didn't make that one mistake, I think this game could still be going to this day. Not saying that Super Saiyan would have lost, not saying that Jollyman would have won, but it would have been a very, very different game. I think this game could have actually gone very long here, very deep, because the gold mines are going to expire. All Jollyman really needed was the rest of this gold mine. 3,000 gold remaining. He would have got his trade route started, completed, and he would have been able to keep fighting. But too many lost units here, I think. Military units killed. I mean, you do see that the advantage here was for Jollyman, but that's villages, and I don't know. It just didn't quite end up being enough. There's so many more resources here for the Hades after all is said and done, but an incredibly well played game for both players here. But Super Saiyan coming out with game number 1. We'll move into game number 2. Hope you guys are enjoying the Athenian League action, and we'll get this next game going right now. And we're into game number 2. Super Saiyan here does decide to go in with the Ra, and Jollyman sticking it out with his Norse as he decides Odin is the god of choice. An interesting one. We are on the map here, Nile Shallows, which I think is a really, really fun map for Sphinx shenanigans here for Ra. Now, you can go for there's 2 strats, 2 main strats here for Ra. I'll talk about Odin afterwards. There's 2 main strats. There's also a whole myriad of different ideas to go for with Ra. But specifically in this matchup, there's 2 main strats to go for, and then there's little like pocket strats to like kind of take your opponent out of book, so to speak. I think I want to start bringing that up a little bit. I've been having this thought recently about what the opening is, what the opening game looks like in Age of Mythology Retold as opposed to say like a chess game, and I think there is a lot to be said about, taking someone out of book by doing something a little bit offbeat. Just, instead of going for the Italian, you go for, I don't know, some gambit. I don't know. Anyways, let me talk about 2 main strategies, and I'll give you a couple of other like sort of random offbeat strategies you can try. So strategy number 1 is obviously you go for a classical fight with Sphinx, 2-3 monument, making spearman, axeman, slinger, Sphinx, running around raiding, defending against the Odin raids with your own Sphinx is really good, and putting pressure on with a big eclipse sort of play. Another strategy is to go for the Mister style, which is where you go for a whole bunch of Wadgets, army, and you go for a vision play, and you are looking to just put mad pressure onto the Odin. Some sort of offbeat plays, things like a far second town center with a barracks. So you're making axemen out of the barracks, far second town center, and shifting sands with Da. And then if your opponent decides to try and match you, you can deny that with a shifting sands onto their position there with the axeman you're going to be building. And then there's everything else. Like you've got some fast heroics off of one talent center that can do some things. You got some fast mythics off of one talent center, which can be pretty scary. But yeah, you've got you can play around with a whole bunch of ideas. Odin, on the other hand, here is very much in the reactionary state here. He has to say, okay, what are you throwing at me? How do I defend against it? It's almost like if we are really going to be going into the whole chess thing, Odin is playing black and Ra is playing white. Odin is playing black. And as that is the case, yes, there are some sort of gambit things that can turn the black sort of defensive opening into an offensive thing. You know, like the I'm struggling with my opening. I used to know this stuff, I swear, but you know, like you can sacrifice a pawn to make something happen. So that would be like sort of like going for a Heimdall rush or something like that. But generally speaking, if you're going to go through the Freya route, this is kind of like you're just playing a reactionary game, trying to figure out what the Ra player is going to throw at you. And right now, it's looking to me like Super Saiyajin is going for a second town center type idea. A second town center type idea, which isn't bad. He's got a great town center here. He's got a great amount of hippopotamus here. He's got a great gold mine on the back. But you do have to have something extra behind this. You can go 2TC, just try and play defensively, try and spam units out and try and just play a classical fight 2TC, which isn't as kind of crazy as what I was suggesting with a quick barracks and a town center going up, making those axemen out. Well, Priest does manage to drop the relic in, but will lose its life here, so it's not going to get through that wall. Forest Fire also coming through to open this up. Jollyman says, hey man, I'm taking this game into my own hands. You are going to be losing your Wadjet. Watchtowers comes through super early here from Super Saiyajin. Generally, I would say that is unnecessary, but he goes for it. One villager already down as the Pharaoh now under attack. The main base is completely opened up here. The Watchtower will be a big help with defending. The Forest Fire is now finished, so he can actually throw the wall over here as an idea. Double Valkyrie in for Jollyman. Jollyman's gone for the fast Valkyrie opening. I didn't mention that. I forgot that this is a Jollyman special. He was actually one of the players who I think was doing this super early on. Gets in, picks off a villager, pulls back out. That's 2 villager kills and Watchtowers forced. I guess forced is one idea, but Watchtowers is grabbed. And now the Valkyrie pulls back and he can just heal up. An absolutely pristine opening here from Jollyman. Now he's the man who is not only equalized in the position, he has got all of the advantage. And we're going to be seeing Super Saiyajin behind this, dropping a cheeky village center. The cheeky village center is now on the way. Meanwhile, Obelisk getting sniped up. Jollyman searching for a little something to take out here. As the villager will simply just pull immediately into the Watchtower. Super Saiyajin, like these 2 Valkyrie forcing this much idle time by just wandering through here. Absolutely huge. A couple of priests are in, going to get a little bit of damage done. All this damage is good because it's buying time for Super Saiyajin here. Because these Valkyrie have to pull up here. They're going to have to heal themselves. They're actually the Shieldman Valkyrie as well. He's already got that upgrade through to boot here. And he's now spotted the town center. So now 2 options for Jollyman. He can just say, great, you just spent 550 gold on a village center. I'm just going to spend everything on military. I'm going to plant plant some buildings here. I'll plant some buildings here. I'll plant some buildings here. And we're just going to play for a gold staff here. Option number 2 would be to drop a town center and just enjoy the fact that, well, we are going to have more economy than a village center are, and we can be completely fine with doing that. Okay, got a question here. Look, the towers have done 335 damage. Now, obviously, this is not. They haven't got any kills. That's the problem. Playing against Odin, these units are just going to heal themselves back up. So far, those towers have not paid for themselves. But they have paid for themselves in the fact that they've managed to get the villagers back to work and not losing anymore. As spearmen are now going to start coming through. The barracks coming up all over the place. It is important to get these barracks in range of the monument. That way they're all hit by the boosted gather rate. As market armory up to the top here. And the raiding cavalry swinging through over onto this side. Villagers all pulling back into the town center. And Super Saiyan still under so much pressure. Jollyman is just taking this game into his hands, and he's in a fantastic spot right now. Option 3, go Njord. I mean, if you go for the Njord play and you're not building units, then an answer for that is to be already out on the gold mine and leaving this gold mine at home. So there is a way to play around that sort of a teching idea. But it can work. As walls coming up all over the place. There is Jade. Oh my god. Grab Jade Hair, and then those Valkyrie go from like 6.6 speed with thundering hooves up to like 7 point something. That would be insane. As the Sesrimnir technology now coming through for Jollyman. Getting access to Goaty if he wants them. Spearman coming through, spotting just a little bit here. You've got to be so careful with these Spearman raids because realistically, the Valkyrie can come back and snipe these down. The raiding cavalry should also be coming here. Like, this is a very, very dangerous raid for Super Saiyan. There's Jollyman. Nice and respectful there with those villagers. Pulls them back preemptively. Decides, okay, you're leaving me. Let me do all that stuff. As now Jollyman coming in with from all different angles here to deny the spearmen from escape here. Going to be losing a handful more, and this is what I'm talking about. These are dangerous raids. He's actually going to lose so many of these, and this is so huge because the gold mine's about to expire. And he's throwing farms down. Oh dear, that's so much gold. Yes, he's probably got Shadoo 35 gold apiece. Yes, he needs food income, but he doesn't have the gold to be doing this. We'll see if he can muster out the army to get a second gold mine, because look at this from Jollyman. He is just saying, give me everything. I'm walling it all. We will be seeing Sobek coming through for Super Saiyan as he is going up to the Heroic Age. As rain comes through for Der Super Saiyan. And that's going to be a huge amount of food. He can sell food for a little bit here, I guess. So he does have a little bit of time. As he's going to be wandering over onto this spot to drop a Migdol. We are going to be seeing Skadi queued up. Population differential is in favor of Jollyman at the moment. As a Migdol stronghold to get dropped down. Bringing the priest over here. I would love to see the Pharaoh on this spot. Lots of units not in position here to deny this for the time being, but it looks like the Super Saiyan is going to be able to live another day. He has survived for the time being. He's got himself a Migdol. This will be completed. He gets himself the gold mine. He's got himself his farm set up. If he drops another monument here and gets a huge amount more food income, he is going to be able to absolutely spam these reigns. 2 more reigns with, is this 23 farms? 2 more reigns with 23 farms, and the differential in this like position is not that big of a deal. Now, obviously, myth units could be another option here, making a whole bunch of Bitsukos or something. Could be another option, or Wadgets or something. As the Rock's searching around for something to do, a shifting sands onto this position could be the idea from Mr. Super Saiyan. He's got Locust. This is huge. That's so many villages. The shifting sands coming through onto Jollyman's villages here. Locust getting dropped down. Huge amounts of damage to come through onto this one. Okay, that I think I overreacted a little bit, but huge amounts of damage coming nonetheless. Into the main base, however, Dirt Super Saiyan is losing villages as well, as he has not reacted to this in the slightest. Now finally pulls the villagers off, and all of that damage that he managed to get done there is undone with this one brutal raid. Not really. It's 9. There's a 9 villager differential, but meanwhile, the army to take the fight. There is this rock here. He could drop them into the rock and escape here, or he could. No, he can't walk out. He's completely walled off, but he could have escaped. No problems with that rock there, but instead decides to take this fight, throwing away a huge amount of spearmen here. As the spearmen coming over onto this side, going to be putting a little bit of a stop to this. This game has now just heated up in the biggest of ways. Jollyman's early game still netting him somewhat of an advantage at the moment. However, Sir Super Saiyan has definitely got an angle here to bring this game back. He's got the reins. He's got the ability to drop extra monuments, get more favor in, to expand the map out, grab this town center. Hill Fort coming up for Jollyman in the center of the map as the spearmen are just roaming around here. I still think just a rock to escape would have been so genius from Dirt Super Saiyan, but does not go for it. The second rain now coming through. Only with one monument still, as now he's dropping that second one. I wouldn't mind seeing a third one at this point either, as well as a town center. As the Jollyman raids coming up to the top side, looking for a little something here. Camel Riders queued up as well. The Dirt Super Saiyan. As he's sneaking back into the main base, and hitting during the rain is pretty brutal. But units this time will be in to defend. A couple of villages will go down, but you want to be denying this. Pop villages out here, wall these units in, and then you can snipe them all. But Dirt Super Saiyan doesn't manage to do it. He does pick off a raiding cavalry or two for that little cheeky raid as the Monument to the Soldiers finishes up. But Dirt Super Saiyan still not taking more of the map. And where to next, though, is the question for Jollyman. We are seeing an attempt for Horus here, which I like, considering the current situation. He's got that extra rain. No, he doesn't have that extra rain here. Maybe if he didn't take that damage from that raid, he would have been okay. He's dropping another monument. He knows he wants that next rain, but can't afford it for the time being. Opting for another Migdol stronghold to try and secure this position here. Camel Rider, Spearman is the army composition of choice for Dirt Super Saiyan, as Frost gets dropped down, and Jollyman says, well there, I see your army. It's not looking that spicy. Let me break through. We'll kill off your Migdol stronghold, and we're going to start going for this gold staff here. As now the villager differential has been equalized, and Jollyman will have full control of the map. Nothing up on this top side to sort of lock this position off. I would have loved to see Jollyman getting something up there earlier. A couple of longhouses or something around the gold mine would go a very long way. But nonetheless, Frost finished up, and Dirt Super Saiyan forgetting to delete this Migdol stronghold. He might not realize he's got the resources right now to go Mythic Age. As Dirt Super Saiyan says, no worries. I will simply just retreat and pull up to the top side. Meanwhile, a hill fort coming through. He does delete that, and now Horus is on the way. But Jollyman, a huge advantage right now. He will have to dodge a tornado. That's the big one. Tornado is going to be scary. Horus Spearmen are coming. That's going to be scary. We see some slingers coming through as well, though there isn't access to the slings of the Sun Tech, so they're not going to be as strong, but he does have access to electron bullets. There's huge amounts of food in the bank as this one Shieldmaid Valkyrie going to start causing some problems here. There is a priest over here. He can turn and just shank. Not a big deal. Yes, the Shieldmaid Valkyrie is very strong here, but with both of the upgrades in, it's kind of enough. Just turn and fight, especially with the town center to help out. Meanwhile, into the main base, however, Dir Super Saiyan under a lot of pressure. 190 pop to 167 pop. Mythic Age was cancelled? He cancelled the Mythic Age in favor of grabbing the town center. In favor of grabbing the town center, the army charging forward. Slingers are in. Dir Super Saiyan needs to micro this one really well to win this fight. It's looking like he's able to do so. And Jollyman having to pull back. It's a couple of portal rams coming through. The gold mine is secured on the top. Food situation also coming through. So many resources in the bank here for Dir Super Saiyan. He could sell wood for gold here as well. A temple coming up. It's now the town center to come through for Jollyman. You can come up to this side as well. Grab this settlement as well. A Super Saiyan pulling back into his main base. Still under a lot of pressure, but we are now seeing that Horus on the way. Meanwhile, Jollyman actually having a little bit of trouble with his food. No, is he? Kinda. I think he's got so much food all over the map. He's moving around now. He needs to start farms and all the other good stuff. Another hill fort coming up onto the front here as Jollyman is strangling Dir Super Saiyan in this game. But one tornado could be everything. Oh, the rock raid idea here. I don't mind it from Dir Super Saiyan. If you can get that onto something, get some damage done, get some distraction action, could be huge. Fortified town centers and Horus very close to completion here. Valkyrie charging over here. As the Slinger's going to be able to take out those heavy thrown axemen very, very quickly. The village is getting pulled off of the food here, deciding to now pull into the Migdol stronghold. Horus that little bit late here on the defense to come to the defense here as the rock does pop over here looking for that raid. We see the tornado getting dropped down onto this position. He has to go for it as he drops it onto the units here, picking off a couple, but great split from Jollyman. He pulls up to the top, pulls down to the bottom. Look at the favor situation. Very nice here for Dir Super Saiyan, but he doesn't have the gold. He's got himself, he needs to get those upgrades in as soon as he possibly can. Meanwhile, Camel Riders actually die to the hill fort. The rock dies to the hill fort as the Camel Riders will come over here getting a little bit of a damage onto the dwarves over there. As Jollyman not quite able to break through here just yet. There's in a couple of spearmen, but pulls back. Just a little bit of gold. There's no gold mines on the map that he can go to at the moment. The map control here from Jollyman is just impeccable. Just impeccable. As Super Saiyan dives into his town center. Now we see Champion Spears, Spear of Horus, Greatest of the 50 coming through. Dir Super Saiyan looking for this gold mine. He needs an answer for this hill fort though. And Tyr is now going to come in, and that's going to be even more pain for this Ra economy. Potentially, like, the tornado onto this position would have been another sort of angle to go for, but nonetheless, Shieldman Valkyrie is coming through here, going to be sniping down these villages. As the Mythic Age pops here for Jollyman, he drops that Thimble Winter coming through with all of the Frost Giants in the world here right now. A hefty amount of priests in as well. As the army of Jollyman melting Dirt Super Saiyan. Dirt Super Saiyan with 0 gold in the bank right now. And he has to tap out as Jollyman manages to convert the win with some incredibly well-played map control against the turtling Dirt Super Saiyan. You got to give credit where credit's due. That was an incredibly good opening. Dirt Super Saiyan almost brought this game back from that opening. In fact, I think he did. But then another great play from Jollyman to counterattack gave him everything. I think if Dirt Super Saiyan had done the rock and escaped with those spearmen, I think this game would have been probably different. I actually think Dirt Super Saiyan was in a good, really, really good spot, but he just lost all those spearmen with that raid, and I think that's where things sort of went south. Because yes, you killed off all the villages, but you lost all the units, whereas Jollyman killed off all the villages and kept his units alive. And that's where things can be, that's as simple as it can really be. But a well-played game from Jollyman, leveling the series 1-1. We'll move into game number 3 and see how things are going to go. Alrighty, we're into game number 3. Dirt Super Saiyan, Jollyman, 1 game apiece. It's a brutal series here. If you play a best of 3, you have to win 2 games. That's the only chance you've got. There's no 5 games. There's no like a couple of games to get warmed up in this at all. So we'll see what these guys are going to come up with. We've got Zeus for Dirt Super Saiyan, and we've got Loki for Jollyman. Game 3 on the unknown. No fish on this unknown, but some very nice water. I think this is all shallows as well, so you can walk over it. The only little bit of water you don't think you can is here. Huge amount of relics spawning around the outside of the map. Let's have a look. Gambantine, Odin's Wand. Making those temple upgrades cheaper. Over here we've got Wu Hao Bow of Huang Di. Ranged attacks. Give snare effect. Ula's bow, giving ranged bonus damage in the center of the map. Scales of Echidna, making myth units cheaper. Up to the top here, adamantine shingles, making houses stronger. And finally, Tail of Cerberus, making myth units special attacks happen more often. Now, so far, it's been an incredibly good series. Both players have been playing very, very well. However, one thing that I'm noticing here from this unknown map is a very small amount of food in the main base. It's looking like there's only 800 food in the main base, which is very, very low. There's a hefty amount of chickens, a hefty amount of berries. But both players are going to have to move on to their secondary hunt while advancing to the Classical Age. There are some really, really brutal ways to play this. For example, if you go for a rush here, which is very easy, you know that you can scout out where the villages are going to go, and you can just have that Minotaur getting pressure. Bolter Hersa, kill off villages. Can be really, really strong here. Is Dirt Super Saiyan now going up through Athena? Jollyman's temple on the way. A little bit later. Much later. It might actually be important for Jollyman and Loki here to be in the Classical Age much faster. But there is a lot of map to scout here. It's not a small map. So Dirt Super Saiyan not currently knowing what's going on the other side of the map, but he will be moving up over here, grabbing his deer straight away. And I guess conversely here, like I was saying, you could send a Minotaur in to kill off the villagers, but Jollyman could have advanced here fast with like and got like 3-4 Herser out and be attacking this hunt like right now, which could be a thing as well. Meanwhile, Goat's getting grabbed left, right, and center. Relic's getting grabbed as well for the Super Saiyan. And Jollyman getting the scout shenanigans out here. He sees the villagers in the main base. 5 on wood, 4 on gold. Does this mean town center? I don't think you can go for a town center here. These town centers are not ideal. There's a settlement in each one of the corners here. Kinda. It's a bit of a weirdly spawned map. These two town centers are very close to each other. You have to remember that the settlements spawn based on starting position, which makes it look like there's more town centers closer to, say, the Zeus player, but reality it's equal. This map should be an official map. Can you save this seed somehow? You can see the seed through the recorded game. Yep. It's now Der Super Saiyan getting his Pegasus out, looking for some stuff. A little cheeky wall over here. As Jollyman is onto his secondary hunt over here, as well as both players just getting their economy going. It's going to be Hoplite Toxotes for Super Saiyan. No surprises there. Where are the heroes at? Looks like it's just a relic grabbing fest here. Both players are just grabbing relics all over the place. You got Scales of Echidna, Tail of Cerberus, Gambantine, Odin's. Those are the 3 best relics to go for like a crazy fast and a huge amount of bull minotaurs. Now you are playing against Loki, so do you want to do that against Loki? Maybe. But it could be an idea. As the wall's up over here, Toskopos will be spotting the hunting party. But so far, very, very defensive early game. I mean, both players realizing that they have to defend their hunt. So they just have to sort of sit here, get the wall set up so that they can maybe start thinking about moving across the map. It's also a very, very defensive game. Or not defensive, very, very large map, which does tend itself to a little bit of defensive shenanigans to kick the game off with. As Jollyman now says, hello there, I'm ready to run into your main base. Villagers getting pulled. Great amount of damage here. Like, he doesn't pick anything off. You just have to do this and be happy. Like, if your opponent's going to pull their villagers like that when you run for a raid, you just go, fantastic, bye-bye. Don't need to stand there and take town center damage. Just take all the idle time and enjoy it. There's Jollyman. Will he snipe the villager? Yes, he gets the villager. But is it worth it? Does he get out with his life here? Does he lose any Herser? Answer, no, he doesn't. And now he's out of there. Meanwhile, up onto this side, the raiding cavalry looking to break through over here, but the wall is already up. So he has to sort of knock that down there or run all the way around here, of which Der Super Saiyan will notice as the wall slowly starting to take some heat here. One villager to repair is not going to be enough. As the hoplites coming up, that's enough there for Jolly to say, all right, I'll leave. No worries. More units coming through over here. He's got that healing spring down, getting those Herser back up to a respectable amount of HP before saying, all right, let's leave. Let's go on the raids yet again. You can come hit the villagers on this food here. Obviously, if you can get around onto this, it's going to be ideal. We are now seeing that Labyrinth of Minnows tech, nice and cheap, 188 wood there coming through. So it will be a very scary army coming for Jollyman. Jollyman does manage to snipe another villager. So far, the raids are working incredibly well for Jollyman. Super Saiyan needing to play this incredibly defensive early game to sort of hold on. One thing that I would love to see from him, though, is sending his now Bull Minotaur off for his own raids. Come this way. Sneak this way. Get into here. Attack the villagers. Do something. Over onto this side. Cheeky little raid coming through as the Bull Minotaur gets caught out. Takes a hefty amount of damage there. This villager gets caught out as well. So many kills thus far as Jollyman is just literally all over Super Saiyan. He can't defend both sides at once here, it's looking like. Town Center will manage to pick off a raiding cavalry there. That's a nice little snipe there from Jolly on the pullback. Gets that Minotaur there as well as the raiding cavalry yet again popping it up onto this side. Good defensive moves there from Super Saiyan. However, he's idle up to this spot. Over here, he's losing a villager there as well. He's got to get his villagers back to work. Meanwhile, raiding cavalry coming up to the top side. Will he spot the villagers over here? He does have himself that Eyes in the Forest tech. And there he goes. That Eyes in the Forest tech manages to show him the villagers. But Bull Minotaur coming up here to attempt to defend this. And Jollyman pulling into the corner here before getting out of here. Hoplites will get a little bit of a snaring action happening. The wall's still not quite up all the way here just yet for Super Saiyan, which means those raiding cavalry will get out of there. And continuing along, now Jollyman says, "Okay, we've run on this way. Let's run in on this way." Villagers sitting idly by now for Super Saiyan. Needs to get over onto the herdables here. But so far, Jollyman in a commanding position. Raiding Cavalry Herso is such an amazing Loki tool. I mean, it's good for the other Norse players as well. It's Thor, I guess, it can do it with the Herso Raiding Cavalry. But this is such an amazing tool because these guys moving around at 5.3 speed together, and they're able to deal with the Minotaur, they're able to deal with the Toxotes, they're able to tank the Hoplites with the Herso while the Raiding Cavalry do something else. There's so much opportunity for value here as the army now going to be charging in, taking out a house or two. Minotaur coming through. Has a little bit of a defense here. As meanwhile, over onto this side, Jolly says, "Hello there." Stops the houses from going up. Snipes another villager. There is a 6 villager differential right now. And look at this problem here for Super Saiyan. He's just... We actually saw this in one of the lower... one of the classical age divisions, right? These raids just do so much to make a player's life difficult. Super Saiyan's macro in game 1 was clean AF, but Jollyman couldn't really get those raids off. This game, Super Saiyan's macro is all over the shop because these raids have been so effective. Meanwhile, gold mine about to expire. Now, if you are ever in this position, just throw down extra buildings. Get the units spent. Or the resources spent into units. More military buildings. Spend, spend, spend. Jollyman. Going Bragi. Fitzbro, thanks for the raid, my friend. I hope your stream went well. It's the Herser. Poke forward. Pulling back. Houses going down. Minotaur. Popping over here. It's the raiding cavalry Herser. Getting out of this position for now. Nice little turnaround from Jolly. Gets onto those Minotaur. Good control there, though, from Super Saiyan pulling back. But he sees the throw and action now and realizes, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That's a lot of units. In fact, it's about the amount of units differential that Super Saiyan has in the bank right now. If it had all those resources spent, his army would look very fierce. There is still a restoration available here, though. As the village is coming up to this top gold mine. This is where things are going to get very, very challenging. What Jollyman can do is he can grab a wall or a hill fort. Doesn't matter. A wall, a tower, or a hill fort. Yeah, kind of. You can get a wall here, lock this off, a hill fort here, and then just rotate around, knock this down, kill this. Definitely important to get the wall as well, or at least some barracks around this thing so that the hoplites of Zeus don't just clean it up immediately. But nonetheless, a battle boar with a pack of raiding cavalry coming up to knock down the wall. He can swing around on the bottom side as well, out of sight, out of mind. There is a little pathway he can go through here. We'll see if he's going to manage to do it. Looks like he is. He has shown himself here. Pops over onto this side. Good pullback there from Super Saiyan. Dionysus on the way. And a portable ram is through here, though, for Jollyman. And Super Saiyan is about to feel a lot of pain as the army coming up here to defend against this tiny raid means his entire base is going to get opened. Huskal also coming through. These are unupgraded Toxotes. Good control through the town center to get some damage done. As the Minotaur moving over here, and now Jollyman sees that and he says, all right, it's time to go with my raiding cavalry boars over onto this spot, putting pressure onto the main position. And reaction, a bolt there onto the battle boars. The village is turning around. There will be a bronze here and a restoration. A bronze and a restoration. A second healing spring to come down. As Jollyman says, let me get full HP on my Deuterinos. As all the raiding cavalry do end up falling there. Full HP on my Deuterinos. And then we can go for a raiding. Then we can go for our flaming weapons push. But this is going to be bronze. It's going to be restoration versus flaming weapons. So the difference is about 1,000, 1,200, 1,300 military resource value, which is a hefty amount. Meanwhile, the raiding cavalry sneaking through here yet again. He gives it away a little bit. Nope. I don't think he attacked. But I'm pretty sure Super Saiyan noticed it there. That's another hill fort coming through. Jollyman, very smart here. Gets this set up while the raid hits. The army out of position to deny that. And then he's just going to be able to literally right-click on the town center. He's got the extra population here shooting. He's actually picking villages off underneath the town center as well. As a raiding cavalry get pushed back, but he doesn't lose anything. He's just gotten Super Saiyan out of position. Town center falls. Or is falling. It will fall. Village is going down as well. Super Saiyan has not managed one fight in this game. And Jollyman is just in a ridiculously commanding position here. The Hearser turning in. Ready to take the fight. Super Saiyan needs to click the button. He doesn't have everything here. He clicks bronze. Restoration to come through as well. It's a 4.5k army versus a 6k army. Jollyman smartly says, I'll just retreat from that restoration. Thank you very much. And then we can turn and take the fight a little bit later underneath my healing spring. And Super Saiyan, for the moment, can't retreat. He has to take the fight underneath one hill fort, two hill fort. Jollyman staying strong at 6k. He's got a second town center as well up as now. As the army of Super Saiyan ends up fading. And Jollyman claims the series in commanding fashion. But a close series, nonetheless, 2-1. Congratulations to Jollyman. Incredibly well played game here in game number 3. Super Saiyan just could not quite stop the bleeding here against this Norse rampage. Funnily enough, I think maybe he spent too much time early game just grabbing relics, where the big advantage that I think Super Saiyan had here was that he advanced quick. This was a big deal. He advanced like a 50 seconds before Jollyman, if he'd gotten across the map immediately onto this hunt, he could have completely flipped how this game was going to go, and he could have been the one on the offensive. But didn't end up happening. Jollyman gets the win. Takes the series. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit the follow on the Twitch. If on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys in the next game.